Guys, so here's the question today. Is the photography business too saturated? Are there too many photographers? That is the question today. You know, as a photographer for over 10 years, you do see a lot of photographers out in the scene. And let me try to break that down for you. If you're an event photographer and you've been to weddings or quinceañeros or bar mitzvahs or any type of event, there's probably, Uncle John with a camera. There's probably cousins and little uncles and whoever, whenever you're doing an event, there's always people with DSLR cameras taking photos everywhere you go. In front of my studio yesterday, they were doing a downtown festival in the middle of the city. And man, I kid you not, it seems like every person you looked at had a DSLR camera. And of course it was a festival and that would bring the cameras out. Not everybody, but tons of people with DSLR cameras, tons of people taking photos. Now, are those people photographers? That is the question. I guess if you ask me, I say that if you take photos with your camera, no matter what capacity, whether you're a professional or not, or you do it as a hobby, or you're photographing cars or street photography or landscape photography, you name it. Like, as I'm embarking into this YouTube channel and I'm seeing what's out there, when you just put photography in YouTube as a search, as a keyword, there's just so many different niches and genres underneath the photography. You're gonna have real estate photography, you're gonna have product photography, you're gonna have commercial photography, you're gonna have portraits, you're gonna have people, you're gonna have animals, you're gonna have streets, people are photographing the street, yada yada yada. So are there too many photographers? Is the photography game saturated? Well, let me go back to what I was saying earlier. I do believe once you have a camera and you take photos, I think that makes you a photographer, right? But again, what type of photographer? You're a part-time photographer, you're an amateur photographer, you're a beginning photographer, you're a pro photographer, you're an established photographer. So there's so many realms. When you say he's a photographer or she's a photographer, where do they fall? What type of photographer are they? To me, I would assume and I would imagine that a professional photographer is probably one that does photography for a living. Is it saturated? Is there a lot of photographers? I think there are a lot of photographers. When a customer comes to see you, don't think you're the only photographer that they're gonna visit. In my experience, I think customers will visit 2 to 3 photographers. It's probably more what they actually do online and who they actually reach out to and who they look. It probably starts as a giant funnel. I believe that once they start narrowing it down, I think they probably narrow it down to like 2 or 3 photographers that they might like, or whose price or whose style they like, or who was recommended or whatnot. There's so many different ways that a client can end up at your studio or end up with you. But keep in mind that customer, that client has probably seen or will be seeing a few photographers. So make sure that you're ready for that. And I'm gonna tell you at the end of this video, how do you separate yourself from every photographer? And in my experience, forget cell phones, right? Everybody has a cell phone and everybody's good at cell phone photos. Yes, when it comes to that, everybody is a photographer there. Remember what we talked about? There's a lot of people who take photos. Maybe they don't do it for a living. Maybe they're not that good at it. Maybe they take landscape photography and you're an event photographer and they want to compare the two. So again, customers, a photographer, it's kind of everybody's a photographer in the customer's eyes. Everybody's using the same gears. Everybody's watching the same tutorials. Everybody's using the same lighting. You know, nobody's really reinventing the wheel out here for sure. How does a photographer separate themselves from another one in a customer's eyes? And that's definitely just by being you. Just be yourself, because if you're not yourself, you're gonna come across the wrong way, and that's just not gonna end up well. You want to come across and you want to show who you are, what you stand for, the type of work that you do, what you do, so that way the customer falls in love with that. You know, maybe you were witty, maybe you were funny, you know, maybe, you know, you made them feel good, you know, maybe you were nice and warm to them. Different customers have different things that they like or don't like about a person, so keep those things in mind, but always be yourself. If you are yourself and a customer doesn't like that, it doesn't hire you, so be it, guys. There's a billion other customers that you can go for. There's more fish in the sea. There's no need to shed tears. There's no need to cry. As long as we give it our best shot, as long as we continue to put out good work and we have a good reputation and we're being ourselves, don't worry about if the customer's gonna like you or not. Because if you're yourself and you're genuine, everybody has reasons why a customer will like them or will vibe with them or will feel comfortable with them. So like what a customer might feel comfortable with me might be totally different why they might feel comfortable with you. We're all different and we all build rapport different. So you just have to make sure and keep that in mind and just be yourself. As I've been sitting with customers for years and years and years, you know, they always come to me, hey, we went to such and such and they gave us this, or my Uncle John is a photographer, he might do the wedding for free, or I have a cousin that's in film school and he's thinking about doing the video, or I was supposed to do the wedding with this guy, but this guy didn't show up, he took my money, or whatever it is. You know, you're always gonna get those stories because there are a lot of photographers out there. So, you know, the question is, are there a lot of photographers? I say yes. You know, I say yes. You know, it's a broad question and a broad answer. Are there a lot of photographers? Yes. I mean, just look in YouTube, just look on Instagram and Facebook, social media. I mean, everybody, it seems like they're picking up a camera these days and taking photos. So again, are there a lot of photographers? I say yes. You know, but again, that's very broad. You know, you got to separate the professional photographers and everybody's different genres and niches and where they are. But just keep that in mind. And, you know, competition is good. Not every photographer can book every customer and vice versa. So maybe someone didn't want to hire you, but maybe the person they want to hire is not available. So guess who they might come back to? You. That just means they liked you as well. You were right there in their selection with that other photographer. So keep that in mind, guys. So are there a lot of photographers? I say yes. Is the market saturated? I say yes, but with a broad, with a broad brush. You know, I can't try saying that 3 times. A broad brush. Everybody has a camera these days. So I figured I'd do this little video on how to separate yourself from everybody else. I hope you guys like this video. I hope you guys go ahead and hit subscribe, share, comment, and turn on your notifications so that you'll be notified when we put out our next video. Peace.